Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. We will get started with small prayers as usual. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे हरे
राम
राम राम हरे
हरे
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद
नित्यानंद
जय
जय
अद्वैत
चंद्र
जय
जय गौर भक्त
वृंद
जय जय श्री
नमो
चैतन्य
भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जय, श्री श्री गौरनिताई की जय, श्री 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 जगन्नाथ बलराम सुभद्रा मैया की जय, जगत गुरु पतित पावन श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, द कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Thank you everyone for joining today's session. We will start the 14th chapter today. Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, nature, the modes of material nature. Let me share my screen.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. You all can see my screen?
Yes, Mataji. Mataji. Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Okay, so we will talk about 13th chapter overview and get started with 14th chapter. So Arjuna asked 6 deep questions in 13th chapter. He asked about Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetra, Kshetragna, Gnanam and Gnayam. So he asked basically what is the body, who is the soul, what is the knowledge, what is the object of knowledge, who is super soul, etc. And Krishna answers all of that. Krishna says the body is like a field, which is Kshetra, and we are the soul, Kshetragna, the knower of that field. But above both is the super soul, Krishna himself, present in everyone's heart. So just like a person driving a car, we took this example, right? Knows how the car works, and we are the soul driving the body. So Krishna describes the qualities of a truly wise person. From 8th shloka until 12th shloka. So such as the humility, non-violence, there are 20 qualities that we have discussed, cleanliness and devotion to Krishna, etc. And real knowledge is not just bookish. Krishna also talked about developing spiritual values that brings closer to Krishna. So like a good student doesn't just memorize the theory, right? They live by the values they learn. And similarly, a devotee lives by these qualities. And then Krishna talks about the soul and super soul from 13th to 19th shlokas. Krishna explains the nature of the super soul Paramatma, who is present in all living beings. Also explains the difference between soul and super soul. Soul is an individual, which is a tiny spark of Krishna, and super soul is Krishna himself. He also resides in everyone's heart and guides us from within. And he also talked about the enlightenment from 20th to 35th shloka. Krishna explained deeply about the material nature Prakriti and how the soul gets entangled due to ignorance. But by knowledge and devotion, one can become spiritually enlightened and get liberation from the cycle of birth and death. And Krishna also talked about a person who sees Krishna everywhere and understands the difference between body and soul, they will become free from the illusion. And he also talked about the qualities of jiva and material nature, super soul, and the journey of the soul through knowledge. And we discussed about attributes of the soul, like soul is eternal, spiritual, and it is an individual subordinate to Krishna. And attributes of super soul also we discussed. Super soul is all pervading, it is transcendental, and super soul resides in the heart and present in everybody's heart, not only one person, but all the living entities. So this chapter helped us understand who we are truly. We are spirit soul, and within us is Krishna as super soul, and how to become wise by cultivating the spiritual knowledge and the qualities of a devotee, the 20 qualities that we discussed about. Ultimately, it helped us become Krishna conscious by seeing Krishna in everything and everywhere. So today we will be discussing about the 14th chapter. One second, I'm trying to share my screen. So today's session is about chapter 14, the three modes of material nature. It is also called as Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. And the acronym for today's session is TRAP. So from 1 to 9 shloka, we discuss about three modes, and R stands for race for prominence from 10th to 13th shloka, and actions in three modes, 14th to 18th shloka, and pure life from 19th to 27th shloka. So we will discuss about the three modes first, and then we will get into the differences between the three modes, etc. So Krishna is describing about three modes in this shloka. So Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayati Rajah Karmani Bharata Gnanam Avritya tu Tamaha Pramade Sanjayatyuta. Anybody would like to read the translation?
O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions one to fruitive action, and ignorance covering one's knowledge binds one to madness. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So Krishna is explaining how material nature influences our behavior and also our consciousness through three modes. Three modes are mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. We will see what are those mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So mode of goodness is called Sattva Guna. Mode of passion is Rajoguna. Mode of ignorance is Tamoguna. So basically, mode of goodness is sattva guna, which brings peace, clarity, and happiness, and it also binds. Even though it feels nice, it still binds us. We may get attached to peace and comfort rather than seeking for liberation from birth and death cycle. For example, a person who wakes up early, eats sattvic food, and reads scriptures, and lives a disciplined life, they're happy, but they might feel too comfortable in material goodness. And they feel like they don't need to do any devotional service because they are already doing all good activities and they don't need to do anything beyond that. So that is one of the things that we need to remember. So mode of goodness is helpful, but we must go beyond the mode of goodness also. So beyond mode of goodness, there is something called Shuddha Sattva, which is the bhakti, the devotional service to Krishna. And mode of passion is Rajoguna. So the effects of mode of passion is it creates desires. We always strive for doing something. There is restlessness and there is attachment to results, etc. And it also binds us. So we will become trapped in endless activity and lot of stress, always chasing success or always chasing for recognition, etc. So that is mode of passion. For example, a person who works day and night to earn more and they want to compete with others for higher designations and higher roles and achieve worldly comforts and pleasures, right? So that is the example of mode of passion. They might seem productive, but they're always unsatisfied and they're always anxious. Um, so passion may look productive, but it distracts us from spiritual path and also entangles us in karma reactions. So whatever work we do, we will be bound by the reactions of that work. And mode of ignorance is tamoguna. It is kind of it brings laziness, and we are always with confusion and lot of sleep, intoxication, and forgetfulness, etc. These are the symptoms of mode of ignorance, and it also binds us from real knowledge, covering from real knowledge, and it leads to madness, illusion, and self-destruction. For example, someone addicted to television, mobile, gadgets, and sleeping all the day, taking intoxicants like smoking, drinking, etc., or they always feel depressed and hopeless, etc. Those are the symptoms of mode of tamoguna. So they don't know why they are suffering and they feel stuck. And this mode is the most dangerous mode. And because it makes one unaware of spiritual truth. They don't discuss about God, or they don't worry about what is the purpose of life and what is the goal of life and where are we going after this, before this what were we, etc., right? So there is no spiritual questions or any inquisitiveness from the spiritual standpoint. And all these three modes are part of material nature and they keep us bind to birth and death cycle. So only by transcending all these modes, that means we have to go above all these modes through bhakti yoga, devotional service to Krishna, and then become liberated. So Krishna says in this chapter only that the secret of how can we transcend, how can we come out of all these three modes. So think of these three modes like different settings on a TV, right? Sattva guna is calm documentary. It goes very smooth, peaceful, happiness is there. And Rajoguna is intense action movie. So it has a lot of violence, it has a lot of action, etc. Tamoguna is static noise and or sometimes in a sleep mode. There's no activity or there's a static in Tamoguna. So but real life begins when we switch off that TV and connect to Krishna consciousness. That is going beyond all the three modes. So what are these three modes? These three modes are like invisible ropes that tie us to different types of thoughts, emotions, and actions. The word guna, it means in Sanskrit rope or a strand. Just like this three-colored rope in the image, right? These modes are intertwined. Intertwined means they pull us in different directions. Even when we don't want to be pulled, they keep pulling us in different directions. But how do they affect us? These modes shape our personality, our choices, and even how we relate to God. So these modes will act in a significant way for all of us. Sometimes we feel peaceful and we have clarity of thought. That is mode of goodness. Sometimes we are restless and we want to chase for goals. That is mode of passion. And sometimes we just feel like not doing anything, right? Lazy, confused, or hopeless. That is called ignorance. Even though we may want to do the right thing, these modes will overpower us, will overpower our intelligence also, and they drive us in different directions that we did not plan for. For example, you wake up early, and you want to eat simple sattvic food, and you wanted to do exercise, and you want to feel light and content. That is mode of goodness. And mode of passion is you are chasing deadlines, and you want to do multitasking, and you are always stressed about results, whether this will come or not, what happens if it doesn't come, what should I do, etc. All these thoughts will overpower us, and we will be unable to focus on our spiritual life, or we don't have time for spirituality or bhakti. And ignorance is sometimes we are binge watching shows, late night movies, skipping meals, or going for pubs, intoxication, feeling unmotivated, or hopelessness, etc. Right? This is all mode of ignorance. So even the mode of goodness, it is better than the two. Like mode of ignorance, mode of passion, which is better than mode of ignorance and passion, is goodness. So it is still a binding rope. It keeps us in this material world. Even when you are in mode of goodness, you do all lot of good activities. Your good karma increases. So when your good karma increases, you will have to take birth again to enjoy that good karma, which is not good eternally. So because that is also temporary, maybe if you have done a lot of pious activities, you will end up in Swargaloka, but after your account balance is done, you will have to come back again. So that is also temporary, and you will be part of samsara, that is stuck in the birth and death cycle. So the goal isn't just to become good, but it is recommended if you are in mode of ignorance, transcend that mode and go to mode of passion. And if you are in mode of passion, go to mode of goodness. So step by step we can increase, and but ultimate goal is to go beyond the three modes and to situate ourselves in bhakti, which is Shuddha Sattva mode, which is the bhakti platform. And Krishna also says in 14.26, that is the final thing that Krishna talks about. How do we transcend these modes? What is the solution for this problem? So these ropes may be subtle. We will not be able to see these ropes, but Krishna consciousness is the scissors that can cut all the three modes and free us to live in our true eternal nature as the servitor of Krishna. So that is something we need to learn from this chapter. So the three modes of nature, the 14.1 to 9. So mode of goodness, if you look at the first image, a peaceful lady meditating. The effect is, after meditation, what would be the effect? It brings peace, clarity, and happiness, right? And it also helps gain spiritual knowledge, most favorable for bhakti. But they are not in bhakti, but the mode is most favorable in bhakti. So such people tend to live a balanced life and sattvic lifestyle, right? Waking up early, eating simple sattvic food, and enjoying the self-reflection, steadiness, and devotion. So this is the mode which is spiritually helpful, but can lead to attachment to comfort and knowledge, and we should not stay there for long. Once we are in mode of goodness, then we have to transcend beyond that. And if you look at the second picture, which is mode of passion, Rajoguna, multitasking, stressed office person, right? So it brings restlessness, desire, and over endeavoring, doing more activities until working until late night. There is no time for resting, no time for family, no time for spirituality, no time for recreation, etc. Right? They always want to work, they want to earn more, and they chase for titles, they chase for designations, they chase for recognition, etc. And this person is always busy, stressed, and driven by results. Even when they succeed, they are not satisfied. They jump into the next goal. So that is the mode of passion, because the mode of passion do not make them sit quiet still. So they always want to chase for something or the other. They create different goals, new goals, one after the other, and they keep over endeavoring for it. And this is also spiritually distracting because it binds us to karma, fruit of action. So they always work only for recognition, only for higher positions, only to earn a lot of money, always comparing and competing with others, and there is no inner peace here. So they're always stressful. And if you look at the third picture, mode of ignorance, that is tamoguna, the person who is looking very angry, frustrated man, right? This mode causes confusion, laziness, anger, madness, and even they have self-destructive habits like intoxication. And they don't have real knowledge. They don't believe in God also. So this person loses control and becomes disconnected from reality. And this is the spiritually dangerous mode, and uh, it leads this kind of people will be away from Krishna consciousness, away from bhakti, away from God, and they waste time on gossiping or addictions or blaming others. Sorry, I think it got disconnected. Let me share my screen. So the tamoguna is the black rope. It pulls into darkness. So the real freedom comes when we rise above all these three modes. That is what we will be discussing today. That is the solution. So Krishna tells about the process of how we come out of these three modes. So far clear about these three modes?
Yes, Mataji.
So how the three modes of material nature control our lives, just like puppet strings, right? So a person is shown like a puppet being controlled by invisible strings in the first picture. So this represents how material nature, through the three modes, like mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, pulls us like puppets. Sometimes we feel calm, sometimes we are ambitious and restless, sometimes we are lazy or angry. Even though we think we are acting freely, we are being influenced constantly by these three modes. So why is it sometimes we feel calm? Why is it sometimes we feel ambitious? Why is it sometimes we are lazy? We all have all these mixed modes of nature, right? So why is it like that? Because Prakriti, the three modes of nature, is influencing us constantly. So that is what we need to understand. So, for example, if we want to wake up early, but we oversleep, we keep snoozing the alarm and we oversleep, that means the mode of ignorance is pulling us back. So we wanted to be calm and cool sometimes, even if someone agitates us, someone talks harshly about us or in front of us. We wanted to maintain that calm and cool nature, but we are unable to live up to it because Rajoguna is taking over during that time. So that's the reason why we are influenced by Rajoguna and we are not able to maintain that cool and calm. So the right side image shows where the three goddesses, symbolizing the three modes, right? Mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, are pulling people with ropes. And Krishna is above all. If you look at, you will be able to see the lotus feet of Krishna holding the controller of all controllers. So this reminds us of 3.27 also, where Krishna said, all actions are carried out by the modes of nature. But the soul thinks that I am the doer, but the soul is alone, not the doer. So we also have seen in the previous chapter, right? We think that we are the doers, but we are not we are not alone who are doing everything. There are influences, and we have super soul also guiding from within, etc. And the modes bind us to repeated birth and death. And we have a solution in this chapter. How do we come out of that three modes of material nature? So we are not truly free until we transcend these ropes. That is, the solution is bhakti yoga. So Krishna talks about it in the upcoming shlokas. So this gives a practical comparison of how everyday activities are influenced by three modes of material nature. So it is designed to help us reflect on our own choices and move toward the mode of goodness. And eventually, after goodness, we have to transcend all the modes through Bhakti Yoga. So let us see some real life examples. For example, people who are in mode of goodness, what kind of books they read. People who are in mode of goodness, they read motivational or spiritual biographies. For example, Srila Prabhupada's biography or any biography that uplift the soul and inspire them to do positively. And mode of passion, people who are in this Rajoguna, they like to read thrillers or science fiction because that excite their mind but offer no real benefits. They are kind of wanting to see the thrillers and wanting to read the science fiction, but there is no real benefit. They enjoy it temporarily, but there is no real benefit. And people who are in Tamoguna, so what kind of books they read? They read objectionable. They go to objectionable websites that degrade their consciousness, and it also leads to spiritual downfall. And people in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, what kind of work they do? Mode of goodness people, they kind of take teaching or guiding others and seva oriented jobs. Honest, they wanted to do anything which is honestly, and they wanted not to go into anything which is not disciplined, which is not meant to be done, etc. And they do it with the intention to serve and uplift the society. So the mood is the positive mood, and they're always optimistic and they wanted to serve others, etc. And mode of passion people, they're all career driven, just for money, status, competition, etc. But there is no deeper satisfaction. And people who are in mode of ignorance, addictive and destructive behaviors like dealing with drugs or criminal activities, which leads to darkness, etc. And in this modes of goodness, we have time in the day, morning, afternoon, and evening. So which mode is prominent in what time? So Brahma Muhurta time, 4 a.m. until noon time, is the best time for mode of goodness. Mode of goodness is very prominent. That is one of the reasons why we always ask our children to read in the morning. Do anything that is very good to be done. Start in the morning. Your mind will be peaceful, and you'll get the subject very quickly, etc. Right? So that's the reason why they call the same. So Brahma Muhurta time until noon time is perfect for spiritual practices, perfect for clarity and peace, etc. So the time of the day is 4 a.m. until noon, which is the mode of goodness is prominent in this time. And noon until 8 p.m., mode of passion is prominent. So any work that we have to do, so material activities that we wanted to do as a job or any other things, ambition driven competition, anything that we wanted to, we can do at this time because mode of passion is prominent during this time. And from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning, this is the mode of ignorance time, the time of confusion, time of sleep, time of laziness, and time of intoxication, right? People go for pubs and wine shops to have that intoxication. This because this is the time we need to sleep to avoid the mode of ignorance. And this time, if we want to do anything, this time will be prominent. This time is prominently given for mode of ignorance. And what kind of music people hear uh, based upon the modes of nature? Mode of goodness people, they prefer to hear classical, devotional, or soft music that calms the mind and elevates consciousness. But people who are in mode of passion, what kind of music they hear? Rock, pop, jazz, the high energy stimulating emotions like romance, ambitions, etc. Right? So they wanted to hear that kind of music. And people in mode of ignorance, they want to hear screaming sounds, shouting, noise, which is disturbing the heart and pulls us into lower states of consciousness. So that is the mode of ignorant people will do. So the key takeaway is Krishna explains in the 14.5 that all souls are influenced by these three modes. Unless we transcend them, unless we go beyond the modes, we remain bound in this material world. So the mode of goodness is the purified mode, but even it is not the final goal. But initially, to start with, We should aim for mode of goodness, but eventually we wanted to go beyond mode of goodness also. So we need to ask ourselves, is this activity, any activity that we do, is it helping me come closer to Krishna or pulling me away from Krishna? So that question we need to keep asking. If it is sattvic and Krishna centered, it is a step in the right direction. Otherwise, we need to think about it. We need to course correct. And this continues the practical breakdown of how the three modes of material nature influence our choices and consciousness in everyday life. So what kind of activities, places, food, state of mind, etc. We will see places, food, and state of mind. So what kind of places mode of goodness is prominent? The parks, forests where greenery is there, right? And peaceful temples, which gives us calm and refreshing feeling, right? These are all calm and refreshing environments that uplifts our mind and help connecting with God. And mode of passion lies in crowded, noisy cities with non-stop activity, which stimulates ambition, but there is no peace there. And mode of ignorance, pubs, nightclubs, dark places full of intoxication, distraction, degraded consciousness, etc. Right? And food, mode of goodness food is vegetarian, fresh, juicy, and it promotes health, clarity, and also fit for devotional path. And mode of passion, overly spicy foods, overly sour, overly pungent food, because it fuels our desires and it fuels restlessness. Too many chilies, too much heat, that means too much anger, right? So that's the when you eat all of this food, you will be influenced by mode of passion. And mode of ignorance is rotten food, leftover food, stale food. That's the reason why people say that we need to eat fresh food. If you eat rotten food, leftover food, stale food, or intoxicating food, it leads to disease, laziness, and poor spiritual health. Your consciousness will not be developed. And what kind of state of mind is there for three modes? Mode of goodness has peaceful, satisfied mind. They wanted to, this is the favorable state of mind for spirituality or bhakti, ideal mindset for self-realization. And mode of passion, they are greedy, they are anxious or competitive nature, and always chasing more without contentment. They will not have any satisfaction. They wanted more and more. Even after they reach certain goal, they wanted to have a higher goal. They wanted to work more harder than what they have done before. And mode of ignorance, they are dull, lazy, disinterested in Krishna or spiritual progress, and they may even resist hearing about God, etc. Right? So these are the mode of the places, food, and state of mind in each of the modes. All three modes bind the soul that we discussed. Even the mode of goodness, though it is better than other two modes, it is still a rope. The best way is the spiritual, the bhakti path. So we need to ask, is this place, is this food, or is this state of mind uplifting my consciousness or putting me down? We need to think about these things. So after we get this knowledge, right, we need to use this knowledge for our upgrading our consciousness instead of just hearing and leaving it aside. So this slide explains how the three modes of material nature affect our ability to hear the super soul. So we have Paramatma, Krishna as a super soul residing in our heart, right? So how, based upon the modes, how are we able to understand Krishna's guidance from within? So connection, how do we establish that connection? So mode of goodness people, they're too self-satisfied. Even the super soul, Krishna is guiding us from within. People who are in mode of goodness, they will not be able to listen what Krishna is guiding, because, for example, a man feeding poor children, they are doing good karma, right? In this mode, the person is very calm, very well behaved. They value morality, they do charity, and they follow all the rules and regulations, and they're happy. And but they often become self-satisfied, so with their own virtue, and feel, I'm already good, I don't need any further guidance, I'm doing all good things, I'm following everything, and if somebody is coming and guiding me further, I don't want that, because I'm already good. So the problem is they may ignore Krishna's voice from the heart, thinking their own reasoning is enough. someone who gives charity and eats healthy but never think of Krishna or spiritual life. Those are the examples of mode of goodness. And people who are in mode of passion, their desires speak loudly and they cannot hear the voice of super soul from within. For example, if you look at the image, a stressed out office worker, they are in mode of passion. The life is all about goals, performance, achievements, etc. The mind is always racing with desires. I want this. I must have that. I must buy this. I will want to gain this designation. I wanted this recognition. I want to compete with others. I want to stand high, etc. Right? So the voice of the super soul will not be heard because of this mental noise. They always are chasing after results, goal after the goal, etc. So with that mental noise, they'll not be able to listen in from the super soul. So even if Krishna tries to guide, this person is too preoccupied with worldly concerns. They will not be able to listen what Krishna is saying from within. So many people say, I want to earn until 50 to 60 years old and then start bhakti, which is never possible. So after 50, 60 years of over endeavoring, we will end up with all diseases. We will end up with all aches and pains, etc. Right? We will not be able to do any bhakti during that time. And mode of ignorance. Um, uh, so if you look at the image, a cartoon of a lazy man with a drink, he's too inert. He's looking very ignorant, and he'll not be able to hear anything from Krishna super as a super soul, because in ignorance there is no clarity, there is no desire to grow. They don't want to work at all, and they are always into intoxication, and because of that they will be in depression, etc. Right? So the person is so covered by darkness they cannot even recognize there is a super soul inside. Forget about the guidance, hearing about the guidance given by super soul. They don't even recognize there is a super soul inside. So the problem is they are spiritually blind, and they may even somebody talks about God, they will mock. They will say there is no God. You are just here to enjoy. You will enjoy whatever you have. You eat, sleep, enjoy. That's what they will say. They also say God doesn't exist. Don't waste time. You always enjoy. One life. There is one human life. You enjoy with intoxication. You enjoy with sex. You enjoy with comforts, luxuries, etc. Their message is like that. So all the three modes disconnect us from Krishna's guidance. From within our heart, Krishna is giving guidance. We are not able to connect with that message. The only way is truly hear the super soul. When we will be able to hear, when we are in bhakti path, when we go beyond all the three modes. Then Krishna will personally guide us, and we kind of come out of that material modes, and we will be situated in the platform of pure devotion. So here Krishna explains how the three modes of material nature are constantly competing to dominate with each other. So it looks like an inner tug of war, right? 14.10 to 13, Krishna explains about it. The three men are pulling in different directions. If you look at the image, it's like a three-way tug of war. This is exactly what is happening inside us all the time. So Krishna is saying, just like in this picture, one moment we are calm and focused, mode of goodness is winning. The next moment you are restless and chasing desires. The mode of passion is dominating that time. Suddenly we feel lazy or negative or depressed because mode of ignorance is taking over from the mode of goodness and passion. So this back and forth keeps happening, making us unstable, making us confused and stuck in this samsara, which is cycle of birth and death. So what are the signs of each mode? These three modes are not just theories; they are real influences, and they wanted control over our mind and heart. Even when one mode is prominent, it is temporary. The next moment, the other mode will take over. So unless we rise above all these three modes, we will be pulled endlessly. All three modes compete with each other, and they keep pulling us. And sometimes, without any reason, we wanted to aim high. We will go into the mode of passion. Sometimes, without any reason, we feel lazy. Even though our body is not tired, sometimes we don't want to do anything because mode of ignorance is taking over. So Krishna is saying uh, these modes compete with each other and they race each other. So here Krishna further explains how three modes are in a constant competition for dominance in our life. So Krishna is saying, Rajastamascha Sattvam Bhavati Bharata, Rajasattvam Tamaschaiva, Tamasattvam Rajastatha. Anybody would like to read the translation? Okay, sometimes goodness
I
becomes
can.
dominant. Yeah, go ahead.
Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharata, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy.
Thank you, Prabhu. So Krishna is saying, Arjuna, like we have seen in the previous slide, right? Sometimes goodness becomes dominant, pushing down passion and ignorance. Other times passion takes over, and sometimes ignorance wins the race. So these modes are always fighting inside us. There is never peace until we transcend them, we go above them. So what it means in real life? Imagine your mind is like a battlefield. So goodness wins when you're peaceful, focused, and inclined towards good activities. And passion wins when you're restless, chasing success, or stressed about achieving something, right? And ignorance wins when you are lazy, dull, or disinterested in anything uplifting. But none of them are stable. Just like weather changes daily, our dominant modes also shift from one mode to the other. This keeps happening constantly. So our moods and decisions are based upon what is predominantly influencing us. So even goodness is not the goal that we need to keep remembering, because it still binds us to karma and material identity. So we feel that we are the body and we want to do good activities for a comfortable life. And even after the life also, for next life also, we want it to be comfortable. That's why we do good activities, etc. So the real solution is to rise above all the three modes through Bhakti Yoga. So then only we will become Nirguna. Nirguna is going above the modes. There is no guna influencing us. Like Krishna takes charge instead of the three modes of material nature. So think of the modes like apps running in the background. If you don't close them, your spiritual battery drains. But if you surrender to Krishna, you go into God mode, free from all these material settings. So let's see what happens when mode of goodness dominates. So let us understand how life looks when the mode of goodness takes charge in our consciousness. So what are the symptoms of Sattva-guna? Cleanliness, self-control, peacefulness, truthfulness, simplicity, and helping others, compassionate lifestyle, right? So if you look at the image on the left-hand side, you see simple village life, smiling, happy people. There is no rush, no anxiety. There is a natural joy and harmony in relationships, right? That is mode of goodness. On the right hand side, devotees with their children peacefully chanting, with simple dress, smiling hearts. This shows a sattvic way of living. So they may not have luxury or show off, but they have peace, clarity, and satisfaction. So how it feels when goodness dominates? Like we wake up early naturally, and we are grateful for the things that we have. We are content. We don't want to chase for more, and we are very much calm. And we are drawn to spiritual activities. We wanted to read and favorable for bhakti. So you enjoy sattvic food, nature, and meaningful conversations, etc. over endeavoring for more and earning more money and chasing after titles and designations, etc. That is mode of passion. But here you will enjoy sattvic food, nature, and meaningful conversations, spending time with family, etc. And you stay away from violence, gossip, and bad habits. So that is mode of goodness. And Srila Prabhupada also explains that mode of goodness purifies the consciousness. And when we have that consciousness purified, we will be fit for spiritual realization. But we should not be stopping there. Goodness may lead us to understanding spiritual life, but only by practicing bhakti, devotional service. Then only we will be going out of this mode of goodness also. So even the peaceful families shown here, if they are not engaged in bhakti, they're still within the material world. That we need to remember. The left-hand side image, they're in mode of goodness, they're not still in bhakti. And if you look at the right-hand side, they are in mode of goodness, and they have utilized that favorable environment for bhakti, and they started Krishna consciousness. And Krishna says that sometimes goodness overpowers passion and ignorance. This is a favorable condition for starting the bhakti path. But it is not the goal. We need to be aware of spiritual topics fully, and we should be inspired to read Bhagavad-gita, visiting temples, understand the knowledge, and keeping Krishna in the center, taking shelter of Krishna. So then only we will be coming out of that, transcend the mode of goodness also. So think of someone who wakes up early, eats healthy, meditates, helps others, but doesn't believe in God or surrender to Krishna. They are in goodness, but still not free from that mode of goodness. They may even feel proud about their good activities. They feel like, I'm a good person, I don't need God. Anyway, I'm doing good, I am in a good position, I don't want to take it to God, I don't want to do bhakti. This pride is also binding. So goodness brings peace and balance, but not liberation from birth and death cycle. So use this Sattva Guna as a launch pad to take up to devotional service, because this is the most prominent mode that gives us the platform most favorable for bhakti. So from Sattva, we need to rise to Nirguna stage, which is beyond the three modes. So that we need to understand. And this is how when mode of goodness prominates. And let us see when passion dominates and the mode of passion is in control, what happens? Passion defeating goodness and ignorance. So that happens at times, right? So let us see what are the symptoms of the Rajoguna. Restlessness, lot of desires, ambitions, attachment to work, attachment to results, and a lot of stress and frustration. And we always constant constant comparison and competition. And of course, there is temporary happiness followed by some disappointment. We wanted another goal. So look at the expression of the man in this picture, right? His eyes are wide open, and he's showing that fear, anxiety, and stress, and he's pulling his hair out. This is mental pressure, right, caused by unfulfilled expectations. So this is what life looks like when passion dominates. It promises joy, but oftentimes it gives burnout and restlessness. Imagine someone working in a high paying corporate job. They wake up late, rush to work, skip exercise, breakfast, and don't have time to talk to family, talk to children, etc. And they are chasing targets, promotions, popularity, recognition, money, etc. Right? They say, I'll become peaceful after I become successful, but it never happens. Once they get what they want, the new desire already comes into the mind. So this is the trap of Rajoguna, always busy but never satisfied. The mode of passion binds one to the fruits of activities, and it makes them attached to the result and makes them suffer when the expected results don't come their way. So Rajoguna keeps us eternally active but internally empty. Externally active and internally empty. Even devotional service done with ego or material ambition is influenced by Rajoguna only. We need to be careful about it. So what happens when passion dominates? Then we become addicted to action, but there is no direction at all. And we are driven by I, me, mine, etc. And we always feel jealous, anger, competition, and also fear of failure. So these are the things that happens when passion dominates. So passion creates movement, but there is no peace. We always look busy outside, but feel hollow inside. And the only way to calm this passion is to shift from I to Krishna. It is always I-centric thing, right? We wanted to make it Krishna-centric activities. So that's when we will come out of it. So by engaging our ambition in Krishna's service, if you just change that lever from I to Krishna, then it brings a lot of peace and pleasure. So let us see what happens when ignorance dominates. That means ignorance defeating goodness and passion. What are the symptoms of tamoguna? Laziness, sleep and inertia, intoxication and overeating, violence and madness, and denial of God. They don't believe in God, and tendency to escape responsibilities. They don't work at all. Here in this image, a man is overeating. His belly is full, face is drowsy, and he's surrounded by meat, wine, and intoxication. He is disconnected from reality, wasting human life in sense enjoyment. This is the classic example of tamoguna, right? What happens when ignorance dominates? People tend to oversleep, avoid discipline, They're always confused, they're unmotivated, and they're dull. They waste time in distractions like binge watching, gossiping, alcohol, overeating, etc. They don't believe in God also. They say that, okay, I have only one life, let me just enjoy my life till I die. So there is no desire for self improvement, self realization. There is just numbness and delusion always. Srila Prabhupada strongly warns us about tamoguna. This mode of ignorance is the most dangerous. It causes madness, illusion, and spiritual restriction. You will not be able to take it to spirituality when in mode of ignorance. So such people may not be even want to hear about God, and they often they're often offensive, and they are not interested in any spiritual discussions. So a person who is addicted to this kind of bad habits, drugs, laziness, excessive entertainment, they say Bhagavad-Gita is too boring. Let me chill with my snacks and phone or movie, etc. Right? They waste this rare human life acting like an animal with a slightly upgraded body, but the activities that they do is eating, sleeping, mating, defending, only for those four things. So ignorance blocks all spiritual progress. The mind becomes foggy and negative. There is no discipline, and it is very hard to take it to God. And to rise above, we need to take the shelter of Krishna. From mode of ignorance, we need to rise to passion, from passion to goodness, from goodness to Shuddha Sattva, which is Nirguna state. So this is a summary. Let us see the modes through Frodo's journey. I haven't watched this movie, but some of you might have watched the Lord of the Rings, the movie, right? Let us look at how Frodo's expressions are showing us, reflecting the three modes of nature. The left image, Frodo is smiling. That means he's in mode of goodness, Sattva Guna. He seems to be very pure, hopeful, and innocent. At this point, Frodo is clear-headed, and he is motivated by higher purpose and willing to serve even at personal risk. And his heart seems to be very clean, and he's trying to do right thing, and he's not attached to power. This is Sattva Guna, calmness, clarity, desire for dharma and service. But we need to remember, even here he is not completely free. The ring, which is his desire, is still with him. So Sattva is a step forward, but not liberation. But it is better than mode of passion and ignorance. The middle image, if you see, Frodo reaching for the ring. That means mode of passion. So now Frodo is getting pulled by the ring. His expression is tense, intense, and he is very much attached to the result. And he feels he must possess the ring, and he wants the ring. He can't let it go. This is Rajaguna. Desire, attachment, ambition, ego, etc. Right? He's no longer peaceful. His heart is agitated. This shows how even a good person can fall into Rajaguna when desire takes over. So when the desire is higher than is dominating, then it takes over as a Rajoguna. And if you look at the right side, the extreme right side image, Frodo in agony, mode of ignorance. Now Frodo is confused, he's in pain, he's trapped by the ring. It's controlling him now. His mission is lost, and his mind is disturbed, and his soul is in darkness. This is called Tamoguna. And this is what happens when desire turns into addiction, and then it becomes madness, just like Frodo becomes helpless in Tamoguna. So this shows us how even a noble-hearted person like Frodo can be pulled by the modes, Sattva to Raja to Tamoguna, if he is not protected by a higher power. Only by taking shelter of Krishna and surrendering in Bhakti Yoga, we can rise above these changing modes. Just as Frodo needed Sam to carry him at one point, we need the help of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, and ultimately Krishna's mercy to transcend all these three modes. So this is an excellent summary of qualities, effects, and results of each of the three modes. So what they do to us. So now Krishna is giving us a clear map of how each guna behaves, like three invisible forces that shape our thoughts, actions, even our lifestyle, and even our next birth also. So let's look at the differences between them and understand what should we aim for. So mode of goodness, if you look at Sattva Guna, Krishna explained it in 14.6, 14.11, and 14.14. The nature is, like we discussed, nature is peaceful, happy, and wise. And 14.6, Krishna says it brings happiness and knowledge and makes one free from sinful reactions. because they all do good things. They don't end up doing any bad things. They don't incur any sin. And 14.11 he says the gates of the body. What are the 9 gates of the body? Anyone remember we discussed about the 9 gates? Okay, so when the mode of goodness is prominent, a person's body, mind, and senses become clear and peaceful, and they are guided by spiritual knowledge. So, what does these gates of body mean? The gates refer to our senses: eyes, 2 ears, tongue, skin, nose, and genitals. So, when you are in mode of goodness, these gates let in knowledge, not ignorance. So, all the 9 gates of our body will help us to enter the knowledge within, and they don't allow ignorance to enter from within. So whatever you see, you will understand this is what I wanted to learn. This knowledge is good. Whatever you hear, you all hear good things and you taste good things, and you will be in association with good people and you smell good things, etc. So the 9 gates will help you in getting all good things inside, not ignorance. So when you are in a good mood, well rested, clean and calm, you see things clearly, right? Understand situations better, and you will also make wise decisions. So a person in mode of goodness can understand anything better because they will be wise and they can control the senses to what extent it is needed, and they also can progress in spiritual path because they have that knowledge, they have that favorable environment. And Krishna says in 14.14, at the time of death, what happens for people in mode of goodness? At the time of death, they go to higher planets where great sages and saints live, right? Upper planets from above the Bhuloka, Bhuvar, Suvar Loka, Swargaloka, etc. So they go to that planets. So goodness is favorable for spiritual life, but still binds the soul with pride, joy, and morality. Even they go to the higher planets, as soon as their account is over, they will have to come back again. And let us look at mode of passion. Krishna talks about it from 14 in 3 verses, 14.7, 12, and 15. What is the nature of people who are in mode of goodness? Like we discussed, they are desire driven and they are restless, they are ambitious, etc. 14.7, Krishna says people in mode of passion, they are filled with unlimited desires and they have unlimited longings also. They wanted to do fruitive activities. They wanted selfish results. And 14.12, Krishna says desires produces attachment. As soon as they desire, they will be attached to that, and they do intense effort for the results. But always leaves that person unsatisfied. Even though they have that strong desire, they are attached to that desire. They do over endeavoring to get the result, but still they are unsatisfied. Even after getting it, they may be very temporarily, very short term enjoyment they have, but they still will be unsatisfied. Then they want more. And 14.15, Krishna talks about what happens for these people after death. So after death, they take birth among karmis, people working hard for material gain again and again, right? So they take birth in that kind of families. Passion keeps us stuck in the cycle of karma. Even if you are religious, even if you are always result focused, you are in Rajoguna that binds you, and after death, you will be born in the same kind of families doing hard work again and again. And mode of goodness, Krishna talks about this in 14.8, 14.13, and 14.15. What is the nature of these people? Lazy, confused, deluded. 14.8, Krishna says they are dominated by madness, sleep, and laziness. These are the symptoms. And Krishna says in 14.13, because of these symptoms, it leads them to darkness, illusion, and inertia. And 14.15, Krishna says those who die in this mode, they are born in the animal kingdom because their consciousness has become dull and degraded. Prabhupada also told, right, Tamoguna is the most dangerous. It makes spiritual life almost impossible unless we are helped by some other devotees or we wanted to have the discipline developed within us. We'll not be able to go to anywhere except the animal kingdom. So when they take birth again, they will, because they have done only activities of animals, right? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's when they will be put into animal kingdom in the next life. So Krishna says in 14.20, so we should always go above all these modes. So let us see actions in modes. Krishna talks about the actions from each of the modes from 14.14 to 18. Not only do these modes affect our moods and behaviors, they also decide our next birth, is what Krishna mentioned, right? So depending upon the mode we are situated, when we leave the body, based upon that we will get the next body. So now let us understand how our actions, our lifestyle, and our internal attitude all influenced by these modes, and they also shape our destiny. So mode of goodness, who die in this mode of goodness go to higher planets, like we discussed about it. They go to Swargaloka or Maharloka, where great people stay there, right? And they have a favorable environment for bhakti in those lokas. If they utilize that, they will transcend beyond the modes. That's very favorable for them. If they don't utilize, they will just enjoy the comforts there, and they come back to the earth planet again. So they may even get birth in a Brahmin family, if not higher planets, right? Even on the earth, they next birth they will take in a Brahmin family, where they have the setup for bhakti, favorable for bhakti or continuous spiritual progress. And a person who lived in clean life, helped others, studied scriptures, performed yajnas, but without surrendering to Krishna, they will get this kind of births in the next life. And mode of passion people, they take birth among karmis that we discussed. People constantly chasing desires, wealth, power, family expansion, etc. They get stuck in that repeated loop of hard work, enjoy, want more, hard work, enjoy, want more, etc. Right? So they get stuck in there. So think of a high achievers who are always busy with ambitions, but they have no time for spirituality, no time for self-reflection. They are born in similar environments once they take birth in the next life. And mode of ignorance people, those dominated by tamoguna, they take birth in animal kingdom that we discussed. That means because they have misused the human life in intoxication, laziness, violence, etc. Right? So because they have done only eating, sleeping, mating, defending, they will get the suitable body, which is the lower consciousness, which is animal body. So sattvic action produces pure results. People who are in sattva guna, they do sattvic actions, and it produces pure results like peace, clarity, spiritual inclination, higher planets, favorable bhakti, etc. Rajasic actions leads to suffering, stress, disappointment, anxiety, and tamasic leads to ignorance. Whoever is doing tamasic actions, they'll have to go into ignorance and delusion. So Krishna is teaching that our mood while doing these activities matter, not just action itself, that we need to remember. So from sattva, knowledge is born. You feel like reading Bhagavad-Gita, reflecting, self-reflection, asking questions, understanding what is the purpose of life, etc. But from rajoguna, greed and desires are born. I want more. Whatever comforts you have, you don't feel satisfied. You want more. Whatever designation you have, you want more. Whatever luxuries you have, you want more, etc. Right? Because you feel like I deserve more. And from tamoguna, foolishness and madness arise. So when Krishna talks about 14.18, where they go, sattva elevates you, rajoguna keeps you stuck where you are. You keep repeating the same thing, like work hard, and you get the results, and again you work hard, you go for higher goals, and again you work hard, etc. Right? You keep stuck. You get stuck in that same loop. Tamoguna, it always pulls you down. You go into the lower planetary systems and take animal birth. So how do we transcend these three modes? So Krishna is saying in 14.20, Gunanetanantityatrin dehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimukto amritamashnute. Anybody would like to read the translation?
When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So Krishna is saying when a person rises above these three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, which comes from the material body, they become free from death, birth, death, old age, and disease. and they can enjoy spiritual nectar even while living in the same world. So what does it mean to transcend the modes? It means not to be controlled by these three modes, not to be controlled by laziness coming out of tamoguna, anxiety coming out of rajoguna, or even calmness coming out of satoguna. So we don't need to stop doing our duties, but we do them without ego, without selfish desires, as a service to Krishna. That's how we go beyond these three gunas by living in this body. And one who engages fully in devotional service, they will be automatically coming out of these three modes. The real method is not by dry renunciation externally, but by understanding it completely and by taking it to devotional service, which is called Bhakti Yoga, which is the topmost yoga system in the Bhagavad Gita. Of the three yoga systems, Bhakti is the topmost that we discussed, right? So this is called Jivan Mukta, liberated while living. So we are still living in the same body, but we are liberated. We don't have that suffering. So that's what Krishna says in this shloka. And here Arjuna asks three deep follow-up questions. So after all this knowledge is given by Krishna, Arjuna had three deep follow-up questions, and Krishna answers each of them. So Krishna, in the previous shloka, Krishna 14.20, Krishna said, uh, whoever transcends the modes is free from these four things, right? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. And he said they enjoys the nectar even in this life, Jivan Mukta stage. So naturally, Arjuna becomes curious. So Arjuna asks these three follow-up questions. The first one is, what are the symptoms of such a person? And how does he behave? And what is the process to transcend these three modes? So Arjuna is not satisfied with just philosophy, the knowledge that is given by Krishna. He wanted to know how it looks in real life and how to apply it is what he wanted to know. So symptoms of one who has transcended these modes. So Krishna is saying such a person, whoever has transcended these three modes, what are the symptoms of this person? Krishna is explaining that. The first one is he is not disturbed by the ups and downs like happiness or distress. He is not disturbed. He's neutral in happiness. He is also neutral in distress. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have emotions, but they have that control, and they're also not envious or attached to anything, and sees all modes as temporary influences. They understand this knowledge. I am not the only doer. No material modes are influencing me, but I will take it to bhakti, keep Krishna in the center, and I'll come out of those three modes, is what they understand. And they observe without being affected. So, like a lotus leaf in the water, it touches water, but it doesn't get wet, right? Same way, this person, even in the storm, he doesn't get panic or dance with wind. He becomes neutral, he understands, and he keeps Krishna in the center. And what is his behavior? Krishna talks about it from 14.24 and 25. Krishna says he is equal to praise and criticism, and he takes honor and dishonor the same way, and he treats friend and enemy the same way, and he is detached, but he does service, but he is detached to that, and he has faith on God, and he is not proud of anything, and he's neutral. It doesn't mean that he's heartless. He's neutral. To the extent he has to act, he will act. For example, if you take Srila Prabhupada, he remained humble. Despite being glorified worldwide, he had constructed 108 beautiful temples of Krishna in many countries. He had taken a round world tour, and he spread the Krishna conscious movement, and he made lot of devotees, and he has converted hippies also into pure devotees. And many have given praises, many have praised him, glorified him worldwide, but still he kept serving Krishna. Despite challenges, he served Krishna. Despite glorifications, he served Krishna. He did the same thing. He kept Krishna in the center. He treated everyone, rich, poor, everybody equally, and he gave the Krishna's message to everyone equally. And even after glorification, he did the same. He was not. He was still humble even after doing a lot of service to Krishna, a lot of name, fame, but he still remained the same. So we can take Srila Prabhupada as an example of transcending the modes, and what is the behavior of a person who is transcended the modes. And Krishna is the third step. Krishna is saying what is the process of transcending the modes. So this is the secret that Krishna is saying. Of course, we have been discussing it throughout the session. Krishna says, one who engages in unalloyed devotional service to me without fail transcends these modes and comes to the spiritual platform. So this means chanting Hare Krishna sincerely, serving Krishna without any motives, and hearing and speaking about Bhagavad-Gita, Bhagavatam, keeping yourself in association, and spiritualize all your activities by keeping Krishna in the center. It doesn't mean that you should give up activities, but whatever you are doing, keep Krishna in the center. So that is what Krishna is saying. Even if we are still affected by the modes, Krishna says bhakti is more powerful than that. It pulls us out, just like how a strong rope can lift someone stuck in a pit, right? Even though the three ropes are powerful, the bhakti is a more powerful rope than those three modes. It pulls us out of these three modes because of that strongness. So Krishna reveals this most confidential truth. I am the basis of Brahman. I am the immortal, imperishable platform of external dharma and bliss. So Krishna is not just above the modes; he is the source of transcendence itself. By surrendering to Krishna, we are connected to the origin of spiritual power. So these are this is the secret. We need to keep Krishna in the center. We need to take up to bhakti path to transcend beyond the modes. Otherwise, we will keep struggling with these three modes. That is the message of this chapter. So we are done, but this we have already discussed. Symptoms are symptoms of a person who transcended the modes: equipoised, neutral, indifferent to their pushings, free from hankering, free from envy. And what is his behavior? We discussed about it. Steady in all circumstances, praise or blame, honor or dishonor, happiness or distress, desirable or undesirable situations, he is still the same. Deals equally with everyone and everything, earth, stone or gold, friend or enemy. Never acts whimsically. Because he has surrendered to Krishna, he has that determination in spiritual practices. So this is the secret Krishna has given. The process is one who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, transcends the mode of material nature, and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Brahman is spiritual platform. So this ends today's chapter. What is there for tomorrow? Tomorrow we will be discussing about Purushottama Yoga, and the acronym that we will be using is HOME. Home, hotel, options, maintenance, and essence. There are 20 shlokas in 15th chapter. We will be discussing that tomorrow, which is called Purushottama Yoga. So this ends today's session. We will all chant together the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and we'll take any questions, if any. So let us, please unmute yourself. Let us chant together one time Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you so much, everyone. Let me know if you have any questions.
Mataji, can you just display the 26th slide, Mataji?
26. Okay.
26th. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Mataji, you can.
This is 14.26.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions, Mataji, Prabhuji?
Suddha Sattva means, Mataji, Suddha Sattva.
Transcending the modes. Shuddha Sattva is transcending the modes, going beyond goodness.
Goodness.
Sattva-guna, yeah.
Is it equivalent to Sthita Prajna? The
Yes.
Sthita Prajna who is having this. Okay.
Yes. Okay, if no questions, we'll close the session. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Antakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavadgita ki jai. So tomorrow is another important chapter, Purushottama Yoga. So let us meet tomorrow at the same time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat pranamas.